to another edition of the Business Plain and Simple podcast presented by the ReGroup Advisors. I'm your host, Tiffany Stone, and it's our goal with this and all of our podcasts to guide prospective and current business owners on their journey to prosperity. We'll show you what to do and what not to do in this ever-changing environment. I'm thrilled to be joined today by Sherry Bergman, who is the CEO of C.R.O.S.S Equipment, and Mike Koshubsky of ReGroup Advisors. Welcome to you both. Now, Mike, you were approached by Sherry and C.R.O.S.S Equipment. What new ideas, operation things that you wanted to bring to them was available when you guys started chatting?
Well, it's great. Sherry and the company she has with her husband, John, had embarked on a product development a couple of years ago, probably a year and a half ago, to really put a new medical device out into the healthcare market, and especially because of the COVID outbreak. And I'll let Sherry really talk about that. But they're an organization that we're working with through the Sterling Heights Velocity program, which is we're the strategic partner to do the acceleration side of the business. Sherry and her husband have a large manufacturing company located in Sterling Heights, Michigan, and they are the type of program and the type of company that the city and the county want to work with to help them achieve their goal. And this is a spin out of their manufacturing company. Sherry's the CEO of this new organization that's going to create a number of jobs and create some economic boom into the community. And so we're excited to work with her and get this into the launch window. She's had a lot of assistance along the way. They had, and I'll let her talk a little more, but I'll tee it up with Henry Ford Innovation on the design of this. Since it's a medical device, there's a lot of complications. This is one of the more complicated business launches that we're involved with through the velocity side of everything. And in addition to our side of it, the executive and residence program that's helping them navigate through some of the municipal activities. So the state and the city and the county programs, all of that is needed. It is truly a holistic effort from the center to help them get this out into the market. And this is going to go national. This is a large footprint. This is a significant business line. We play in the healthcare tech space, and we know where this is going to go. And so we're excited. I can't wait to have Sherry share it with everybody. And so with that, that's my tee up. We had the easy part, just helping her out. So she gets to explain everything from this point.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate it. For C.R.O.S.S, we started out with, like Mike said, a manufacturing facility that we have in Sterling Heights. It's growing. It's doubled in size. But during COVID, we had a little setback, as a lot of people did. And during that time, we were looking for, ways that we could help. We even started just hand sewing and grabbing sewing machines at our own house and making masks and things like that for to hand out. But we wanted to do something more. And so with all of the background that we have here with electronics and components and things like that, we ventured in with GM to begin with, actually. And they started, gathering up vendors and other suppliers that wanted to be part of this program to create and develop powered air purifying respirators. GM kind of decided, that's too much, too long-term for us. My husband and I decided that we wanted to move forward, that this was really important to us. We felt it was really important to the community, not just Sterling Heights, but how far-reaching it could go and what we wanted to see out of it. And then we were connected with people that make hoods and masks for them already, that introduced us to Henry Ford. Henry Ford and our ReGroup have been, we wouldn't be as far along as we are without them. So they've given us just advice on finances and resources and how to prepare for such a launch. The company we have was already in business. This is completely brand new for us, but we feel real passion for it. We were hit, like everybody, really hard with the after effects of COVID, and we really wanted to be able to, make an impact, a big impact with it. And we can do that with Henry Ford and ReGroup, with all their advice, all their contacts. Henry Ford actually, they met with us, they reviewed the PAPR, which is powered air purifying respirator, and gave us great advice and feedback, and they're behind us 100%. ReGroup is the same. We've been connected with in-home services, and we would really love to see that anybody that wants one can get their hands on one. Not just companies, not just in-home care, not just care workers, first responders, anybody that wanted to go see their grandma, their grandpa, their whoever that's in a nursing home or some facility that they're not allowed to get into because they're not protected and they won't allow it, that this would allow them to go be with their family members. So there's a lot behind it. There's a lot of things that we want to do with it, not just with the PAPR, but financially, we have a big responsibility to the community. And just, I know, kind of a little far, but nationally, we want to make a big impact in the world. And I think this is a good place for us to start. And ReGroup, Velocity, the members of Velocity, they've helped us with finding building locations and grant money, and just even saying, hey, Sherry, let's talk and let's come up with backup plans for if something goes wrong. It's like, that'd be a great help. Let's see what we can come up with. So they've just, they've been such a great resource, Velocity and Henry Ford. And like I said, we didn't know what we were doing. We were just really wanted to do something, and we lucked out that we have a manufacturing facility with incredible employees, very intelligent, capable employees that ran with us on it, and we're all in as well. So
no, that's awesome, Sherry. And what it seems like is you want to provide a thing, not necessarily just an idea, but a tangible thing that people can be able to go out, use, everyday people. And it's for somebody who wants to stay connected to their family member. They want to be able to go do this. And it just really seems like you're there to be able to help the everyday person out. And I really, really like that you're really doing something like that. And it seems like that you have this in your mind and you're very focused on that. All you needed was somebody to say, hey, these are going to be your steps for you. This is kind of what you need. And I feel like, I've talked to Mike about this plenty. We have all these great ideas. Sometimes we just need somebody to help let us know what is the next step. And what I really loved about what you just said about Mike and everybody is that they came up with backup plans. We joke about this quote that we hear all the time from Mike Tyson, everybody plan until you get punched in the face. And, that's kind of what it is. And it seems like, everybody is making it a point to be like, hey, we are very uncertain times now. We've heard that through many times throughout the last few years, uncertainty, uncertain times. We don't know where this is going. So it's always great to have some backup plans. And I really like that you have that and that Mike suggested that, because I think those are some of the things that business people fail to think, like, hey, well, what if this first plan doesn't work? What's our plan B, C, D, E? We got 20, so many letters to be able to go through the alphabet. So I love that. And it's awesome to see that. Now, Mike, hearing everything that Sherry just had to say about, your company, Velocity, what they're doing with C.R.O.S.S equipment, is there anything else that you want to mention about this great, I don't want to really say partnership, but because it's more than a partnership, it's more than a collaboration. It's really, two different people coming together to see other people's dreams come alive. And I really love that.
Yeah, I think, what excited us about this when we first got involved with Sherry on it is that passion and that vision to get this out to everybody. We've had healthcare holdings in our portfolio, and so we're very familiar with a lot of the shortfalls in there. And Sherry and her husband, when they looked at this, and she articulated it wonderful. The idea is to get this in the people's hands so that they can be around their loved ones. And one of the things that has substantially changed in the marketplace in healthcare is it used to be pre-COVID, everybody went to a fixed site facility and that's where they rehab. Well, guess what? A lot of people now are aging in place. They're staying in their homes to recover. And what the difficulty piece of that is, you don't want to infect them. So this device that they've created is going to allow a individual, a family member who wants to have that visitation and that connection. And we all know that lack of contact starts spurring mental health issues. So you're really there. It's a much bigger holistic piece that affects people in a positive way. And for them to come up with this initiative and then to put a focus of patient and family first, and let's get it out to everybody, is unique. And being that they're based in Sterling Heights, this is going to be one of those gems that people years from now are going to be going, wow, this started in Sterling Heights, Michigan, and now it's national, and a lot of people are using it, and a lot of families are going to be able to have that contact with their loved ones that wouldn't have been able to do it before. And it's all because they started it right where they were. And once again, this is the type of business that fits coming into that program, where all the resources can be housed in one location, right? They can come in there and everything's one stop. So across the board, so systems, IT, operations, manufacturing, legal, financial, access to capital, access to government, all of that is there. And so when we talk about a perfect business, and then one that has a social impact, and one that's going to positively impact people on a national level, and know that it was started in the community, and not only will it economically economically impact, because they're adding jobs for this. This is jobs, and you can hear their manufacturing company has doubled, which added more jobs and more outflow. So everything aligns, and it's really exciting. But John and Sherry both are very honest, very forthright on their passion to help people, and that is what excited us to work with them. And we're going to help get this out there and make it a dream. And they're already successful. They're already successful in their current operation. I have no doubt they're going to be successful in this one as well.
No, and Mike, one thing that I just took away from that's a huge compliment, and especially because a lot of, people are not necessarily afraid of the medical field, but are unsure of the medical field, feel like sometimes that they're being lied to, sometimes they're not having the entire truth. And what you just said about Sherry and her husband is that they're honest and they're forthright, and they tell you exactly what information you need to know. And I think that is just kind of more of a, it's kind of like a warm fuzzy blanket for people. Like, okay, I'm going to know the truth. They're going to tell me the truth. They're going to get me something that I can be able to use to be able to visit your family members or my family members. And, and I think that's wonderful. And Sherry, just to wrap this up, if you've got a chance to talk to any other companies about what Mike and the ReGroup advisors are able to do in Velocity, what are some things that you say about that company, especially since, like he said, you've already got a great successful business. Now you're going on to your next one. So what is something that you say to other business owners?
The other thing I say is that they're very responsive. Anything that we ask of them, if they don't have it right there immediately within that 2-person or 3-person group that we're with, they're like, we've got to contact for that. And if they don't, they research it and resource it, and they get it back to us. And it's quick response. It's not like we're sitting around waiting and wondering like, hey, we didn't hear back. A lot of times you do that. Hey, did I even get my email? We don't have any of those issues. I make a phone call, just even about this podcast, got right back. They're just responsive, and they have more resources than we could have ever imagined. So even if we come up with some crazy thing, they're like, oh, we can figure that out for you. There hasn't been anything that we've asked for that they haven't been able to give us advice on.
Wonderful. Well, that's awesome. It's always it's always wonderful to be like, hey, I may not know that, but I've got the right person for you. And that's what we've always talked about, Mike, is even if you guys don't know, you've got the right person for them. You're going to push them in there. You're going to make sure that they get the information that is needed. And I think that's wonderful. So thank you both for stopping by today. Thank you so much for all the great information. Sherry, it was wonderful to talk to you, especially with what you're trying to provide as a mass thing for everybody. And I think this is great. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you again, Mike, for all of your great information. And that will do it for another edition of the Business Plain and Simple podcast presented by the ReGroup Advisors. Thank you so much for listening, and make sure to follow our podcast wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss a future episode. You'll be notified as soon as they are released. And if you want to catch up on past episodes, don't worry, you can see all of those in our podcast feed as well. And if you guys are interested in business advising services offered by the ReGroup Advisors, you can contact them at 888-248-7077.